Good afternoon, audience. Welcome to the Thinkly community for higher education and careers. This community is designed to connect students, professionals, and educators to help them learn, grow, and achieve their goals. Whether you are just starting out as a student or looking for a new career opportunities as a professional, this community is for you. Here you will find a wealth of resources and advice on topic such as choosing major, building profile, Ivy League admissions, getting how do we get into top 100 universities, and much more. Moreover, you can connect with other members and professionals who share your aspirations and goals. And let me tell you a little bit about Thinkly. Thinkly is a platform that provides great content or other curated content and meaningful communities. It offers AI-powered summaries of 50 words on various topics such as business, entrepreneurship, health and wellness, sci-fi, geopolitics, and much more. And these summaries come from very authentic publications, including MIT, Harvard, Atlantic, Fast Company, and more. Additionally, Thinkly offer the writing of 50 Nobel laureates and 120 heads of states. There are many prominent Indian personalities from diverse backgrounds, such as Gurucharan Das, Vikram Chandra, Anupam Chopra, Durga Jasraj, etc. Moreover, you can find many business leaders and journalists and coaches on the platform. And today we have such one personality with us. So welcome to yet another session of Higher Education and Career Community. I'm your host, and my name is Vijay Sonawane. I'm a higher education consultant, and I help students to get into world's top 100 universities with scholarship. Before we deep delve into today's session, let me ask you, have you ever wondered what happens in the boardrooms? Have you heard words like legal compliance, corporate governance, shareholders relations, mergers and acquisitions, and much more? Well, today we have someone with us who can decode all these terms for us and navigate us into the exciting professional career of company secretary. Before I formally welcome him on the screen, let me take the pleasure of introducing him, CS Amit Samani. Amit is a seasoned company secretary who brings 23 plus years of expertise. Today, he consults more than 600 MSMEs and corporates, including few very big names in the industry. Amit's specialization is in corporate law, FEMA, that is Foreign Exchange and Management Act, SEBI, that is Securities and Exchange Board of India, a stock exchange regulator, mergers and acquisition, due diligence, and more. He also advises many SMEs on strategic management. He's an expert in intellectual property laws. He is also an active member and an active contributor to his institute, that is Institute of Company Secretaries of India's initiative, and also a visiting guest faculty member to the institute, a man who wears many hats. So please put your hands together in welcoming Company Secretary Amit Samani. Heartiest welcome, Amit sir. And so thank you very much for taking time out and helping our audience. So truly grateful. How are you?
Vijay sir. Thank you, Vijay sir, for the wonderful introduction. And I'm so privileged to be part of this particular thing organized by Thinkly. And I'm so privileged to be here. And I hope I will be able to contribute to the people, to my students, to my fraternity brothers who are going to watch this particular thing. Thank you so much again.
Yes. So thank you. And let me ask you that what motivated you, what inspired you to become a company secretary?
So now the inspiration, it all began from the college days. Like in during college days, I was what you can say, I was given a position in a student council. I participated in student council, and in those particular council, there were many rules, regulation, guidelines which need to be followed, and many representation to be made to the school trustees and authorities on behalf of students. So somewhere that was my first, you can say, attraction to the law or interaction with the law, and I found it very interesting, and I excelled very well as far as representation skills are concerned, decoding the guidelines are concerned. So I thought, yeah, this is something which I would like to take it forward. So as soon as my graduation got completed, I did my law. I jumped into company secretaryship, and I thought, okay, let me have this aspiration. I always had that aspiration to be working and to be doing something with well-known corporates during those times. So I jumped into this thing and I took this opportunity, and that is how my first interaction to this, what inspiration to this company secretaryship started, because I loved those kind of stuff.
Okay, okay, good, good. I'm sure we all of us, I mean, we know that, company, what is company secretary and what they do. I mean, but I think this knowledge is very partial. Okay. It's not a very complete knowledge. So let me ask you a little extended question. Okay. As to what is the function of a company secretary and what actually they do, right? And why it is so critical for businesses and organization.
Mhm.
In your introduction, we came across these terms like corporate law, FEMA,
Hmm.
SEBI,
Hmm.
mergers and acquisition, due diligence, corporate governance, and everything.
Hmm.
So, could you please enlighten us, to understand the company secretary's role much in detail?
Okay, okay. So before I answer your question point by point, I will like to tell you about this profession. This profession, when I started, has undergone a lot many change. I mean to say the visibility part of it. So when I started under this profession, there were many people, or you can say there were many communities which are not knowing what a company secretary does. You know, on a lighter note, they used to ask me a question like, "Sir, your typing speed should be proper, na? एकदम बराबर होगा आपका typing speed." So that kind of stuff was for a company secretary, and this profession has evolved from there to a profession where Ministry of Corporate Affairs in last Lok Sabha also, the speaker told what is the importance of company secretary. So this profession has gone this way. Primarily what a company secretary does, okay, it is to start with, whether he is in a profession of a practicing company secretary or a member. What he normally does first is he ensures that secretarial standards of the companies are met. Whatever Ministry of Corporate Affairs have laid down the secretarial standards to be complied by the company, that is the primary role of a company secretary, to ensure that those standards are met. That is first thing. Second thing is that as a company secretary, you advise the board. You advise the board on corporate laws. When I say corporate laws, it is not just restricted or limited to company law. Though as a company secretary, we are a dominant expert in Companies Act 2013, but it is not just limited to company law. So as a company secretary, suppose you giving an example, okay, if you have a factory and you are a company secretary of that particular organization, so you will advise the board not only on Companies Act, you will advise the board on Factories Act, you will advise the board on Pollution Act, you will advise the board on Workmen Compensation Act, you will advise the board on Bonus Act, Wages Act, everything. So basically any law which are applicable to the company or not, it is the role of a company secretary to identify it and then advise the board about the compliance part. So this is the profession, means which is the closest to the management, and it has lot of responsibility as far as the advice is concerned. That is another, what you can say, key role of a company secretary. Third key role is about organizing board meetings, annual general meetings, EGMs, which are to be interacted with shareholders and the management. So you are like a conduit pipeline between a stakeholder and your management. So you are acting like a catalyst. See the amount of responsibility you have when you are a company secretary. So that is another thing which we do. Corporate governance. You have heard nowadays in every economic times you pick up, you see the word called governance, the corporate governance. Trust me, Vijay sir, the way India is going today, okay, and the way FDIs are coming in India, the role of governance is of prime importance. And company secretaries are the torch bearers to advise the company on good governance. Institutes are now even giving awards for those companies who are, what you can say, who are topmost in corporate governance. So that is one of the key role where a company secretary plays, because he is like an advisor to the board. The board is focused on the business part of it. Company secretary has to highlight why governance is so important. Another company secretary thing which does is representation. See, as a company secretary, you are the principal officer of the company. And whenever something a company needs, you have to represent in front of the regulators. The regulators can be Ministry of Corporate Affairs for any kind of applications or offenses. Then it can be SEBI. If you are a capital market listed company, it can be a stock exchange. It can be a national stock exchange. So representation ability is something which a company secretary does, and he advises the company for that particular thing. More or less, he does that thing. He also signs the annual return. He is also key managerial person of the company. So the responsibility of a company secretary is very truthful as far as the, what you can say, industry is concerned. Coming to what normally I've just gested that what a company secretary does, talking about what is called by FEMA and due diligence and everything. So understand today, a lot of things are to be done for mergers and acquisitions and due diligence. Company secretaries play a pivotal role. So any mergers and acquisitions are going to happen, there will be a due diligence, and company secretary does the due diligence. It may be a financial due diligence, legal due diligence, operational due diligence. Company secretaries are interested to carry out this activity based on their reports. The matter is to be taken forward. So this is what normally a company secretary generally does for various, the rules are defined according to his positions, but more or less he does these kind of stuff.
Okay. Oh, thank you. I mean, you've been very, very elaborative. Just to continue on what you said, you talked about governance, okay, and you also mentioned that considering, I mean, the way India is poised today, we are attracting a lot of investors, the FIIs and
Absolutely.
everything, and you said that they are looking at a good governance, okay, and
Yes.
there's a continuous talk on good governance. So can you just help us understand uh, in a layman's language what is governance? Is it adhering to just a company, I mean, laws, doing compliance, or it is going more beyond that?
Exactly. So very good question. See, governance is just not what is written in the act and the, what you can say, compliance of those particular act. Good governance is more about the practices, the transparency in which the company deals, and it tells its stakeholders. See, lot of things as a stakeholder, you are not aware what a company does. But in good old days, you are not even aware what the company or the management is planning to do. But if you see today's scenario, the company is so vocal and so transparent. Okay, so that stakeholders are aware, yes, my company is going to do this, my company is planning expansion, my company has invested in this, my company is it is the what you can say forecast of my company. So they are going beyond the compliance standards. They are increasing the level of transparency with their stakeholders and with their invoice investor. So governance is not just about the compliance, it's about the transparency with which the company deals with their stakeholders, and that is what is making India an attraction point, if you see.
Right, right, right. Okay. So it's all about bringing more transparency,
100%.
more openness. Yeah.
100%.
Okay.
100%.
Right. Very good. Very good. And abiding to more ethical practices, etc.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Good. Very nice. Very nice. So, Amit sir, I mean, you come with such a huge experience of 23 years, right? You work with very diverse clientele, right from SMEs to MSMEs and even big
Listed
corporates,
companies.
right? Register companies. Yeah, and you help companies to in the on the merger acquisitions and everything. Okay, so can you give us an account or share an example of some very interesting case studies? Okay, I mean, on the face of it, it was very, very challenging, but with your expertise, you help your client. I mean, that will give us more kind of an understanding.
Okay. So as I told you, the company secretary profession is very challenging. So what happened was an IT company, a big IT company, okay, came to us with a notice from a Ministry of Corporate Affairs saying that they are being levied a penalty of 1 crore rupees for a particular non-compliance of not holding an AGM and not adopting books of accounts. Okay. So not holding an AGM or delay in holding an AGM and a penalty of 1 crore rupees, there is a huge difference. Okay. So then they tried and they represented at MCA. They told कि भाई ये नहीं हो सकता है, and finally MCA said नहीं, this is the penalty which we are going to levy. They came to us with this particular thing. we studied those particular things, okay, how it is to be represented or how we can technically help the company. So we took the assignments where when I told you the skills, the representational skills of a company secretary and dissecting the section, it is not just the section, it is the intention of legislation which matters. So we represented it with that case with the MC and we told them that we agree that there is a non-compliance. Okay, there is a non-compliance, but it is of procedural nature. Okay, that procedural nature is there, and second, it is also made good. So there is now an AGM which has been conducted. We have now told those particular thing. Fortunately, we also told that this is a closely held company. This is not a listed company where if any kind of non-compliance would have happened, okay, the market would have factored and the stakeholders were at a loss. But we told them, "Okay, understand this is a closely held where owners are themselves the managers and the operators. We actually represented with lot of case laws which we had. We also had previously, we have done many orders as far as regional directors are concerned. So we gave them the list of orders wherein we have brought and come across these kind of what you can say prosecutions and penalties. Finally, I mean, from 1 crore rupees, the order was passed for just 6 lakh rupees. From a 1 crore penalty was reduced to 6 lakh rupees. The clients were happy, and that is where the representation skills of a company secretary is tested. That is where your knowledge is tested. That is where your experience is tested, and that is where it is not just about the act. You have to have that. You have to be in touch with the orders which regularly department passes. We should be aware in such kind of cases, department has taken the lenient view, and we have to bring those particular things to the officer and tell them, sir, this is what has happened. Your department has, in such cases, in previous years, pass such kinds of orders. So why you are having this kind of disparity? Take them on the same footings. So this is where a company secretary profession becomes challenging. And as a practitioner, you feel, I mean, there is a kick of success which you get in your mind. The clients are happy, you are happy, and there is some kind of achievement you feel. So this was one of the challenging cases. Day-to-day basis, I like prosecutions and I like compounding cases. We have these things on regular in our practice.
Right. Very commendable job, right? I mean, client must be really happy.
They are. Fortunately, last 6 years, they are our clients till date. They have given us the retainership also. So that is
Right.
some reward
I'm
for
sure.
doing a good
I'm
job.
sure. I'm sure. But you mentioned very interesting skill traits when you were narrating the whole incidents that that interpretation, inference, present representation. Okay, all that. Okay, and we'll come to those skills maybe slightly later. Now let me get on to asking you some very career specific questions because our most of our
Okay.
audience are students, okay, and they are aspiring
Okay.
company secretaries maybe. Yeah, and for their understanding, uh, nowadays you can pursue CS after, I mean, along with your undergraduation,
Yes.
and also one, I mean, after your bachelor's degree.
Graduation.
I suppose
Yes.
you did after bachelor's, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
I did after bachelor's.
Yes. So, I mean, considering the practicalness of it, which path you recommend as the best or the ideal path? Whether you do it along with the undergrad or whether you do it after the undergrad.
Oh, okay. So wonderful question. See, I did it after graduation because at that point of time, when I did my company secretary, that option was not available to us.
Ah, okay.
That option nowadays there is a term which is called used as entrance, executive, and professional. In our days, good old days, there was only intermediate and final. So that
Ah,
option
okay.
was not given to us. But if you ask me to answer this question, the best time to start is while you are doing undergrad. The reason why you are doing it is that within 2.5 years, if you are academically sound, but along with your graduation, you can have one professional degree. It
Oh,
gets completed with, and there are many students who are doing this. And the rewards after that particular things are completely, it's a different kind of a reward which you get. So if you ask me, yes, you should start along with moment you complete your 12th, you should do the what you can say the entrance of company secretaryship and start with your education program. That's the best
okay.
time to do.
Right. And then what are the steps? So once you kind of complete the entrance, okay,
Okay.
then how you move ahead?
There are three milestones which you have to cover once you want to become a company secretary. One is the entrance part. If you start before, graduation. Okay. Once you complete this, what you can say, entrance part, okay, there are some trainings which are orientation training which you have to complete, and then you have to appear for executives. Executives also have normally 8 papers, 2 groups and four papers each. You complete this executive, start your training. If your what you can say permits you, if you are not in college, okay, you can start your training. After you complete your executive, you have to go for professional, and you also have to undergo 21 months training as on date. These are dynamic training structures. The training structures also is going to revise in future. There are some amendments which are going to happen in the council meetings, but at this point of time, this is the, what you can say, how you have to do. 21 months of training is compulsory at this point of time, depending upon you are an executive member or a professional member. But 3 milestones you have to complete, which gets completed within 2.5 to 3 years if you are academically good, because institute has exams twice in a year, June and December. So that also
Okay.
gives students flexibility. So you can either attempt for June attempt. If your preparation is not okay, you can go for December attempt. You have an option to attempt the group wise also. If you are saying that my preparation is not for entire group, I can appear for group one. I can appear for group two. Those kind of flexibility is also available as a company secretary's examination is
Okay,
concerned.
okay, good. So, so entrance. So if one has to prepare for entrance, how they need to start?
One thing I would like to tell all the students who are watching this, okay, is that if you want to become a company secretary, consistency in study is most important. So this is not a profession where you feel, okay, the exam is in June. I will study from mid of April. Within 45 days, there are 4 subjects I will cover and I'm going to pass. This is not the profession for that. Here you have to study on a regular basis consistently. Reason I'm telling you is that this is pure theoretical. At the same time, there is a dynamic stage profession. So if you see today, capital markets are giving amendments on regular basis. MCA's Ministry of Corporate Affairs is giving amendments on regular basis. So you have to remain updated. So you have to have certain portion of your day dedicated to this profession if you want to appear. And the focus should be a complete focus. Because moment you appear and you don't pass, there is a different level of mind game which happens to your mind, and you feel so much कि नहीं ये नहीं हो पाएगा, because everywhere there is a fear of professional exams and not cracking the professional exams. So if you want to really crack the professional exam, I would tell all the students, please be consistent. Once you are consistent, this is an exam which you will be easily able to crack.
Okay.
Nothing
Okay.
much.
So, Amit sir, nowadays, we talk about a lot of interdisciplinary stuff. Okay, as you were talking, it just came to my mind. So, is it necessary that you need to be from the commerce background or a business background in order to do company secretary? Can you be from humanities, or can it be from the engineering side and science side? And can you also pursue company secretary?
Yes,
And if you pursue, and what is the outcome or the likely career trajectories?
right. Okay. So if you are a if you are a graduate from any stream, company secretary, you can do a CS examination, 100%. So that option is always available to you. Now you are asking a question whether you will fare well or not. I will tell you, sir, the what you can say, the syllabus of company secretary profession is so nicely articulated and drafted that within 3 years you unlearn many things, you relearn many things, and by the time you complete this professional examination, okay, you come out as a completely different person. So immaterial of background, immaterial whether you are from a business background, science background, there are many people who are from an arts background who are successful practicing company secretaries today. There are people from a science background who are practicing as a patent agent as a company secretary today. So understand, it doesn't make any difference, because company secretary as a profession has variety of what you can say the opportunity for you. So it will not make any difference. But yes, clearing exam is concerned, you have to be very focused. That is the
Right,
first
right.
milestone you have to achieve.
Okay, okay, good, good, good. Now let me come back to that question which I was trying to ask you then. So, what are the critical skills? Because we talked about representation, inference, and everything. So, what are the critical skills and the traits required to be an effective CS? Okay, and how students can prepare for it when they are in the undergraduation or even the post graduation?
So when I say skills are concerned, okay, that is the skills are mentioned in our motto. If you see on the screen, I have written Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara, which means speak the truth, abide by the law. So, what company secretary, as a company secretary, you have to be very clear. There is one tact which you should be a very tactful personality. Tactfulness is a skill which a company secretary needs to have. I will tell you the reason why you should have a tact. Okay. See, you are a catalyst between management, okay, and a stakeholder. So you have to take grievances from a stakeholder and convince the management that they are wrong sometimes. No management will like to hear that they are wrong. But as a company secretary, you have to be firm on your grounds that yes, sir, we are little bit wrong on this. We have to correct this particular action. At the same time, you have to satisfy your stakeholders and your management. So tactfulness is the most important quality which a company secretary should possess. Reason is that he is the closest person to the board. Understand the level of his competence he should have because he can reach at any stage in the company. Any employees who joins the organization will have one dream that I want to become close to the management. Fortunately, in our profession, moment we join the company, we are close to management. So it is a gifted profession for us. We are the closest to the board. Okay, so one tactfulness is a quality which we should have when we become a company secretary. But before we become a company secretary, discipline. Discipline is one quality which we should always have. Lane cutting is not allowed in this profession. No shortcut. If you have a shortcut mentality, trust me, sometimes you have to go, you are going to burn yourself, or sometimes you are going to burn your client. So no shortcuts. You have to be interested in studying things. Okay. You cannot say मैं bore हो गया. Routine things. So person should enjoy routine. Okay, you can nowadays what is happening is that okay, if you see that there is a world full of what you can say attractions and distractions, na. So this profession sometimes feel यार कितना dull profession हो जाता है यार. Every time you are reading all black and white, black and white, black and white. So I always tell the students, okay, see, understand, our job is like a pilot. Okay, when a pilot lands or he takes off, he has to completely and every day diligently follow 50 routine standards. ये बटन चालू करो, ये बंद करो, and it is so boring. But
Yeah.
yet, but yet, pilot does it. Reason is that he is responsible for the life of these 300 passengers which are with him. So we have to have and we have to bear that complete responsibility. If we do some kind, we ignore some compliances, the problem is that my company, whom I am serving, is going to face that non-compliances. So you should have that responsible nature. That is most important. You should not be worried about the routine part. People are saying a routine stuff, and no, it is not routine stuff. Understand? It's a responsible stuff. So you should have that kind of attitude while you are studying. Okay, this is something which will make your name. So discipline is important. Hard work given, it is required. You have to put efforts. Discipline is required. Hard work is required. Tactfulness is required. Without that, you cannot become a professional. We are respected as a professional just because we are different from others. We have to have that quality as a professional. That is given, sir.
Oh, very good. I mean, you have used a very nice analogy of, I mean, pilot officer, right? And explained CS with that. It's fantastic. Very good. I love that. Okay. So, so you mentioned about few of the trajectories, career trajectories that, one can get into patent and everything, all that. And I've also often seen, and you yourself is also a lawyer. Okay, you have also studied LLB. So how CS plus LLB as a combination can help one as a company secretary? And what are the other career options that are opened up?
To answer your question in one word, okay, the combination is lethal. So if you are a company secretary, I would suggest you to do law together. Okay. That will help you in many folds. One, if you are suppose in an employment, okay, you will get that recognition that apart from a company secretary, you are having a multiple degree. Okay. That is a different level of achievement which you have. Okay. From practical point of view, when you are doing a law, both the profession has a complementary subjects to each other. So suppose sometimes you are not dominantly here, you are learning Companies Act, but in law you can learn IPR, you can take criminal as a specialization, you can take drafting as a specialization, and moment you do these kind of degrees together, there is a lot of opportunities which you have. So whether you are in a practice or whether you are in employment, your value goes up. So if you are doing, I have done company law, I have done CS and law. I have a very good practice as far as IPR is concerned. So I have taken I have threefold practice: company law and IPR. So I am expanding my practice. So that is a value which I have added to myself. So you should always have law along with company secretaryship. If you are not doing law, you can have other degrees if you want. You can do some diplomas in IPR if you want to take IPR as a profession. If you want to take HR as a profession, people are doing HR also. They are doing MBA and HR along with company secretary because they are close to board. They are heading HR department. This kind of variety is there. So as a company secretary, it always adds up a value. Tomorrow you can become a legal head of a company. If you see today any listed company you name, 90% of the listed company whose legal head are there are always company secretary and law, and they had done law. That is one of very big position today. Very big
Right,
position, very responsible position.
right, right,
Please.
right, right. Okay, okay. Good, 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 good. Very good. So, how do you recommend whether one should pursue a career as a private practice, I mean, private practitioner, or one can join corporate? I mean, what are the career options? I mean, other career opportunities if you
Okay.
compare both of these tracks?
Okay. So I will answer this question. Company, whether you are a company secretary in practice or you are a company secretary in employment, both the careers are rewarding. Both the careers are equally rewarding. Okay. But if you ask me my personal suggestion, before coming into practice, you should always work with any corporate or anybody who is like any corporate for 2 to 5 years. Okay, why you should work for 2 to 5 years? Because you will get what is required. You will discipline yourself. Okay, you will have that age of maturity because at the age of 22, 23, when you become a practitioner, na, it is very difficult to get big assignments. So you should have certain experience. You should have some connects. You should build your network. Once you are in a corporate, you will build your network with law firms, you build your network with big fives, you build your network with many organizations. So that will help you when you plunge into practice. So if you ask me which kind of profession you should take, whether it be a practicing company secretary, you should do after 5 years at least in the employment post qualification because that will give you a different kind of leap. Means it is not necessary. I'm not saying that you should do the job, but if you do this and jump into practice, you are in a different kind of a league. As far as company secretary and employment is concerned, there is the what you can say the roadmap for the success is completely different. So I have seen many company secretaries starting from a company secretary, becoming a group company secretary, and now functioning as a director in the company. So this is the roadmap of a success for a company secretary. They are the principal officers. Understand, sir? They are the person who will do the joint ventures with various companies. They will facilitate the joint ventures. They will facilitate the FDI. So you cannot say that as a company secretary, the rules are very different. In today's day and age, company secretaries' professions roles are different, very different, and of prime importance, I can say. So pick one. You can pick anything. Either you can be a practicing company secretary or you can be an employment. Both the professions are now what you can say flourishing. See, if you see company secretary, if your paid up capital is 10 crores or more, if you are a listed company or any company, you should mandatory appoint a company secretary. So it's not an option which a government has given. You should
Correct.
mandatory have a company secretary. So that gives you a legal backing also. Understand? So this is how the company secretary profession is evolving. And in time to come, see the way capital markets are flourishing. See the SME IPO markets are flourishing. I mean, who is the torchbearer for compliance in a listed company? You ask anyone, he will say, तुम्हारे पास company secretary अच्छा होना चाहिए. Because today, the cost of non-compliance is so much that any company will not even afford that. Any company cannot afford that. Regulators have become so strict as far as non-compliance are concerned that you should have a good company secretary. So you take any of the profession, if you have that thing in you as a quality, yes, you can flourish. Both the
Okay.
professions are open. Both the
Good,
professions.
good, good, good. So, but I mean, you worked with some corporate, and you also made a decision to get into your own practice.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So what motivated you? What is that you looked at? I mean, that part of practice. Okay, why you decided to get into a practice? Why you thought it is more rewarding that continuing in the corporate field?
Okay.
So how is your outlook on that?
So something is that I will tell you the word which is called challenge. Okay.
Okay.
I like challenge. I love challenge. Okay. So when you are working in a corporate, after a period of time, if your company is not doing many corporate actions, okay, you as a personality, you feel very stagnant. If you are a person like me who wants challenges every single day, what was the option left to me? is to go into a profession where I will get variety. So today, a company can go into mergers and acquisition that particular, but as a consultant, I handle many mergers and acquisitions together simultaneously. I can handle SMEs IPO simultaneously. I can handle due diligences of various acquisitions simultaneously. So that kind of challenge is what I loved. I thought that that would only be possible if I go into practice. Okay. People jump into practice because of flexibility, but trust me, as a company secretary, never feel that आपको time का freedom हो जाएगा. As a company secretary, if you jump into practice, you have to be ready to work 24 by 7 because this profession demands 24 by 7 efforts. So kind of a challenge. I'm a challenge loving person, so I then went into practice where I worked with very known corporates. Like I always had the feeling that I want to do. I'm a secretarial auditor of Indian Oil Adani Ventures. I feel very proud कि चलो I could get this opportunity because I was in practice, or else I would have to be in employment with them. I worked with well-known firms like Rothschild. If you see, I was fortunate enough to bring Tim Hortons, which is the coffee brand of Canada, in India. We were the one who structured the entire thing and we brought it to India. So those kind of challenging assignments you get only when you're on the practice side of a profession. As far as the rewards are concerned, I told you it is equal both the ways. So
Yeah,
as far as money rewards are concerned, I mean it is promising. As a if you are a professional dedicated to hard work, yes, I mean money is what you can say. It will come. It is not a challenge if you are a good company secretary. It's not a
correct,
challenge
correct.
at all.
Correct, correct. Yeah, and therefore, your personality and your personal interests also makes a lot of difference in
100%.
choosing either of that option. Yeah,
Ability,
right.
ability.
Okay,
Ability.
fantastic. Very good, very good. So, Amit, sir, now let me ask you. I mean, it is like becoming rather
Mm.
very by default question in all our session that we are in a VUCA world. Everything around us is changing. We
Yes.
have new disruptive technologies. We are in the era of AI. Okay, what happened in last maybe whatever number of years is happening in last 1 year or 2 years or whatever it is. The speed of
Mm,
change is so fast.
mm,
Okay,
mm.
now we have economic reforms, we have tax
Yes.
reforms, we
Yes.
have, I mean, the whole ecosystem around us is changing. Okay,
Yes.
is shaping into a new structure. So considering that, how a CS profession is
Okay.
evolving, or
Okay.
eventually we can AI
Mm.
take over some part of CS work,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
So, what are
Yes.
those emerging challenges in the CS profession, and how one can take care of that?
Okay. Okay. So we address this question in this way, sir. Okay, whether this CS profession can be disrupted by way of AI
Yeah,
to certain extent. When I say the routine compliances are concerned, yes. For routine compliances, in future you may not require a company secretary. Okay, but But that is one thing where the disruption can happen as far as the CS profession is concerned. But when we talk about specialization, see, if you are going to become and remain just as a CS, okay, yes, there is a challenge which you are going to face. But along with the company secretary, if you develop your skill set, which is complementary to the evolving which is happening, if you see as a CS, see the capital markets which are evolving. So if you are specializing in capital markets along with the CS, there is a value. See the IPR market which is evolving. Along with the CS, you have to specialize in one particular niche thing. See, there is a value. Okay. There is a corporate governance experts. Along with the CS, you have to do. So when I'm using the word along, I'm very clearly telling you that okay, CS, soul as a CS, tomorrow soul as a CS, you will not be satisfied. See, you will survive. I am not saying that you are not going to survive, but the inside person which is in you will not be satisfied with the amount of growth you expect when you become a professional. So yes, there in time to come, there will be a need. But as far as this profession is concerned, trust me, sir, for coming 15 years to 20 years at least, the way there is a growth of SME, MSMEs in India. There are white papers on that particular thing. See the way corporates are respecting compliance and see the SMEs and MSMEs are respecting compliance. This profession is yet to, I can say, emerge as one of the leading profession. And
yeah,
even the political parties and the political views that they are banking on us for the compliance part. See regulators like SEBI, we are made principal officers. Why we are made principal officers? because they understand that this they have to do the compliance. See, it is a position of power you sometimes feel, but trust me, it's a position of responsibility, because jab right hoga, so they will appreciate you. But what will, if something wrong will happen? Something wrong will happen. So as a profession, it is very evolving. The dynamics of professions are not limited to bound to just countries. We have MOUs which are signed with UKs. We have MOU which are signed with Malaysian government. So there is lot of works which the company secretary in UK are doing. So understand, we are not this profession is not just limiting. There is we are expanding to internal audits are concerned. Secretary auditors are being appointed as company secretaries. So I don't feel this profession for 15 to 20 years there is a challenge. But one thing I would like to advise every student: do not limit yourself with just one degree of CS. You have to have some multiple degrees along with the CS if you want to give justice to yourself as a professional. So you are going to survive. Answer is yes, you are going to survive. But if you want to enjoy, and if you want to grow in this profession, it's always better to have some complementary degree, do some specialization, make a niche, and emerge as a winner.
Yes. We have to constantly learn in this era. Yeah. When the economies are growing and things around us are growing, there's a huge opportunities.
So, so,
So just few
so
days back, I was
students here who are listening now, they may be getting advice कि एक बार पढ़ के पास हो जाते हैं. But this is not the profession. Trust me. Once you are passed, every day SEBI is going to come out with one amendment. MCA is going to come out with every amendment. So you have to, after consistency, what I told you, even after you become a company secretary, you have to have 1 hour a day. You either you do or you tell your team to do and update yourself, but you have to remain updated. So your learning will never end in this profession. So if you are not a learner, with folded hands, I am requesting, please do not come into this profession. But if you are a learner, this is the profession which is made for you. You can create a value for the organization, for you, and it is a different era where you can go.
correct, correct. Very true. I mean, yes, I mean, what you say is absolutely relevant to your professions, yes. But I think this is like, now applicable to everywhere. I mean, and in all professions. I mean, I also need to constantly learn, and look at the way universities are offering programs and they are looking at the student profile, everything. So learning is inevitable. I mean,
Yes,
I just heard that, learning. Learning of learning is a new skill now,
yes, yes,
right? And so AI, we also need not to really bother about AI. Yes, of course, AI will take out some jobs and everything. But what I liked, someone said that AI will make you more productive. Okay. And if you're becoming more productive, obviously you will have more skill, right? You'll have more expertise and you'll
yes.
earn more. So you need not really get
Wonderful.
bothered and get suppressed that oh I got, I mean, I may lose my job and let the job go. But if you are constantly learning, you'll create opportunities for yourself.
As you rightly said, AI has a software. Okay,
Yeah.
they can take the work of a company secretary. But trust me, previously we were doing a job of a 50 companies. We were taking X number of time. Now we have a software which we have in our organization. Now we are in that particular same time we are able to handle 300 companies. So see the
Yeah.
amount
Yes.
of revenue it has increased. I have to make
Correct.
some, you have to make some investments in AI, but at the same time it's rewarding. It's
Yes.
rewarding.
Yes. 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 Of course. Of course. Good. I think, Amit sir, I mean, we can constantly talk, but we also need to keep be or rather be a little mindful about the time.
Yes,
I
yes.
think last more than 45 minutes,
Okay.
you have enlightened us on all the aspects of company secretary, for the critical skills. You have really decoded that particular professions and the various career opportunities. Yes, um, would demand, and how CS as a profession is changing everything. Let me ask you a sort of, a sort of a concluding kind of a question, that what would be your parting message to our audience, and especially those who are more keen to get into company secretary as a profession?
So I would just like to tell my brothers and sisters who are going to become company secretary. Is a simple word. I'm very attached to these words. A dream does not become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work. So if you are ready for sweat, if you are determined, and if you are ready to do hard work, trust me, just go for it. This is the profession, and you are going to make difference in the industry. You are going to be well respected in the industries. That is what I want to tell all the people who are watching this, all those students who are watching this. Make you yourself proud, make your parents proud, and make the industry proud that yes, we are a company secretary. That is what I want to tell.
Yes, yes. So you can touch many lives and many corporates. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you very much, Amit sir. So it was lovely talking to you as usual.
Likewise.
Uh, and thank you for your time. I mean, I know you are a very busy person, but you agreed to come on board and,
Thank you.
enlighten us. So thank you very much once again.
Thank you, Vijay
Um,
sir. And thank you,
yeah.
Tingli, for giving me this opportunity. So it was a
Yes.
privilege to be here on this particular platform.
Yes, yes, of course. Yeah. So thank you, audience. Thank you for joining us. So we'll meet next Sunday, same time. Sorry, next Saturday, same time. And so I'm deciding to, continue with our professional series. So today we had Amit sir as a company secretary. Maybe next session we will have a chartered accountant coming on board. Okay, so keep tuning with us, right? And see you next Saturday at 12:30. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Amit sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.